Alright, so I've got a Hitachi EX60 excavator. I love this machine, but it's old. It's a 92. I'm not very mechanically inclined. I hate working on cars. I'm more a carpenter and electrician and plumber. I built this house. But yeah, you have to learn stuff if you own a machine like this. So anyways, what happened is I have had this machine for 7 years, and recently I kind of discovered that you have to replace the gear oil in here in the final drive motors, ideally once a year or every 100 hours, whichever comes first. So I open up the drain bolts on both sides, and instead of instead of gear oil, pressurized hydraulic oil came shooting out, which means that the seals that separate the gear part from the motor, from the hydraulic part of the motor on the inside here, this has the cover on, this doesn't, were broken or, degraded. And so the two compartments aren't separated anymore, which is really bad for the gears. There's supposed to be gear oil in there, not hydraulic oil. Supposedly there's gonna be catastrophic failure down the line if you don't fix this. So I just did this side. I was very lucky to have this guy help me here in my town. He owned the same machine. He did exactly the same job. I was completely at a loss of where to start, and he walked me through it, and it ended up not being that difficult after all. So I'm gonna walk you through it step by step. Yeah, first thing is you wanna get the track off, because you have to take off the entire drive motor, then disassemble it, replace the seals, put it all back in, put the track back on. Okay, so machine is propped up, one block under the push blade, one block under the main frame there. Track is off the ground, just what we need. So there's this fitting in here. I don't know if you can see that, but you gotta undo that, just open up that grease fitting a little bit. So the grease will come out of the piston that's in here that pushes the idler wheel forward and tightens the chain in effect. So you open that. I always just put a little piece of cardboard in, slide it in here. So, because the grease is gonna drop on there, you can get your wrench in from here, and later on you then put the grease gun back in there from this side and pump it back up. So now you can see how the track is slowly coming down. The grease is oozing out and the track is falling down. All right. Next step is to put a rope around. I have this little rope that I always use for that purpose. Just push that through here. Actually, a little bit further down. Come back up, hook a chain around it, and then with the main boom, you just like drag it off from the idler wheel. We're gonna hook that rope to this side where the sprocket wheel is and just pull it right off in the same exact way. Don't do anything else before you have this all super crazy cleaned up. It'll make your life so much better and easier. Yeah, I already took off the cover because there's always going to be dirt in here. Just go with a screwdriver, clean all this up, then air blast it with pressurized air with my compressor, and then with some water, garden hose, spray nozzle attachment. All right, so I got organized. I built myself a little table here for tools, and then later on to lift the motor onto the table and open it up there so I'm not hunched over, where I can replace the seals. I washed it again, and also I got this awesome engine hoist from from Facebook Marketplace. You get them used. I paid $120. You need that. It's so essential. That motor weighs 127 kilograms. First thing you want to do, obviously, the cover's off. This is the cover. These 3 bolts, I just put them back in here so I don't lose them. Just loosely hand screwed in. And next thing, because the brakes are on this sprocket wheel, it doesn't turn. Loosen these Allen bolts first. Just crack them. I already did. Crack the Allen bolts, and I also cracked then already these bolts that hold the motor onto the frame. This is part of the track frame here. You don't need to take the sprocket wheel off at all. These are the bolts for the sprocket wheel. Just leave them in. These ones, absolutely loosen these bolts. Because everything, if they're all still super tight and you have the motor on the table, you're gonna just spin the motor trying to get these bolts off. So just crack them all. And so next thing, now that we have all this set up like that, is we want to take the hydraulic lines off. This, and this. And there will be hydraulic fluid pouring out. So what I got from Harbor Freight, this kit of silicone rubber plugs, and they work fantastic. You just unhook the lines and quickly just pop one of these in. Yeah, I forgot to mention, you also have to take these brackets off right here. It looks like this on the other side. Just 2 bolts. Take these brackets off, because if you want to remove, kind of take the hydraulic lines off, you need to then just kind of bend them out of the way, at least these 2 here, to get these fat fittings off. 36 millimeter socket is best. So first take the hydraulic lines off, bend them out of the way, and then you get these hydraulic plugs out, these hydraulic fittings out, but for that you have to remove those brackets there. Put a catch pan underneath, have your plugs ready. I already cracked these lines. Actually, I'm gonna take the bottom one off first. All right, so the 3 hydraulic lines are off and plugged. And next, I need to take off these fittings here. Otherwise, the motor won't fit through the hole of the track frame. Oh. Ow! That was loud. Fuck me. So these have O-rings on the front here. Don't lose them. They are very crucial. So now we can take off the bolts from the cover to get access to the gears. And the cover has a liquid gasket that holds it to the housing. So we, depending how good that is, it might be a little hard to get the cover off. And then also, this whole gear compartment is going to be full of hydraulic oil, so be prepared to have the catch pan underneath again. Yep. All right, so here's the sun gears and planetary gears, and they all seem to be looking good. So once you drain the gearbox, you can put the cover back on. Just put 2 of the bolts back on, and now we take off the back bolts that tie the motor to the frame. Okay, last bolt. Just coming off. There it is. You take off the Allen bolt. Okay. So after we got these 2 parts separated, there is this O-ring here that needs to be replaced. This spring comes out like so, and then in here, I don't have my hands available right now, but this brake piston comes out. There's a small and a bigger D-ring here. They need to be replaced. The rest can stay. We don't even need to take that out. And then we need to separate the these 2 parts. And there's another big O-ring. And then there is a small O-ring right here that needs to be replaced. And a small O-ring again in between these 2 parts. that we're getting to in a little bit. So again, I took, by the way, I took out the propel shaft with all the rings. I don't know what they're called. They're gonna here, these like rings, I forgot what they're called. The whole drive shaft comes out, so I could get in there and like suck out with my little syringe here, suck out the last hydraulic fluid in there. So this O-ring is trash. This has to go. Here's my new kit, by the way. So there's like these two big O-rings, the D-rings, and then that thick steel ring with rubber gaskets and incorporated into them. So and then that little O-ring here has to come out. That needs to get replaced. But yeah, we'll keep that here for now. Now all this shit needs to be cleaned, and yeah, new O-ring in, and then we continue. All right, so now I'm gonna take off the D-rings, the old worn D-rings. Jesus Christ. Oh, come on. There we go. Grease or hydraulic oil. Propel shaft with the friction plates can go back in. They all have to be aligned like that. The notches all lining up. So that can go back in here. There we go. All right, everything's lined up. Everything's good. Now, brake piston can go in here, and that needs to be hammered in. Actually, gonna lay that on top to not get any dirt in there, and then sledgehammer. Bam. That's in. Spice that again. Okay. So now I can open up this fun part right here. Again, to take this apart, it's gonna be tight once the bolts are out, and you just smack it with a hammer here, just like sideways until it starts spinning freely, and then you just like work it up, and you just pull it out, the top from the bottom, separate them. Oh, shit. these pistons should not be dirty at all. If they fall out, you gotta clean them super well. So when you put this back together, these pistons have to sit on that ring that's, you know, loose. They have to sit on that ring on the outside lip there. And then I'm actually gonna take the bearings out and place them on top of here where they are gonna sit to get to that seal down in there, which is this guy. That needs to be hammered. The old one needs to be hammered out, the new one needs to be hammered in. So we'll put the bearings back on here, replace the seal, and then put the housing from the top back down. And there's, you know, this ring right here is gonna sit on top of these pistons like so. That's the other side. Yeah, now take the bearings out and to get to the seal in there. Okay, so this is gonna sit like so. So I'm gonna hammer this out and hammer the bearings out and then hammer the seal out. Okay. Okay. So now we can get this seal out. We hammered out from this side. And put the new one in. So I'm using the old ring to place it on top of the new one and then gently hammer it in place. That's it. Now everything needs to be clean, spotless. And then I can put this back together. Oh yeah, there's this little this little O-ring right here that could be replaced, even though nothing was leaking in between those two parts, so it's probably fine, but I'll replace them anyways. And then of course that other long big O-ring right here that should be replaced. That's the old one, and that's the new one up here. Okay, I just laid the big O-ring in here, and I'm gonna try to get it into its groove of the top piece that I'm lowering right now. Fuck. Pistons are kind of in a weird position here. Nope, I don't think that's gonna work. Nope, shit. No, that's not gonna fucking work. Take number 4. Motherfucker. Ow! Oh. That might be it. Let's see. I think this is it. Now I just got to get the big O-ring where it needs to be. I think I'm gonna turn it over and put it kind of like in a place where this part has room to come back further out, and I can set the O-ring where it needs to go in its groove and then push it all the way in. Okay, O-rings are good, so I can push it all the way down. Oh shit. The O-ring slipped out again. What the fuck? Why? Okay. Hopefully it fucking stays there. Oh my God. What the fuck? That was horrible. And now basically everything goes in reverse. Just put those 2 small bolts on first to really suck those 2 pieces back together before anything bad happens. Okay. Yeah, everything back together in reverse. So before you put the motor back on the machine, flip it over, take the cover off, put your gears back in here. I recommend leveling it because I struggled for literally half an hour getting those gears back in and properly engaging with the propel shaft. And then you want to clean this face super well. First scrape the old liquid gasket off. Same with this face that's touching the other one. Clean that super well. I just used a little scraper, scrape the old silicone off. And then I used isopropyl alcohol, wipe any oil off. So it's literally just pure bare metal, squeaky clean. And then you just apply your liquid gasket. I think it doesn't matter either to this face or right here to this face. I'm gonna put it up here. They say also around the bolts, each bolt, So that prevents water from getting in there or the gear oil from seeping out. It's not under pressure, you know. Once it's back in there, the gear oil level is about midway, just enough to lubricate the gears, no pressure. So this is just, the seal is just to prevent from anything getting in or out under low pressure or no pressure. Also, I forgot, I already started, but I might scrape that off again. You have half an hour work time with this stuff, but fill your gear oil in now, because it's so much easier than doing it through the, you know, the bolts that screw out of the cover here, and then having a little hose, and it just takes so long and so annoying. Just fill it whatever. I'm not sure, I haven't done it on the other side like that, but I'm gonna just fill it like maybe halfway, like up to here or so. And if I overfilled it, I'd rather drain some out than having to fill more in there. Now it's filled with gear oil. I cleaned the face surface here again, and now I can apply the liquid gasket and put the cover back on, and then put the motor back on the machine and the track back on, and that should be it. So, and now the track is on where it's supposed to be. Oh shit, almost where it's supposed to be. It's not sitting on the idler correctly, but quick fix. Yeah, but after that it's done. Just plug in your grease gun right there and fill it back up to about 2 finger lengths until there's two finger widths of space between the roller and the track. And that is the end of that. So this whole job took me a day and a half. If you're fast, 1 whole day. It cost me $80 in seals for both sides. Actually like $37 per side on eBay. Just Google, Hitachi EX60 travel motor seal kit. You'll find it on eBay, on Friday parts or something.com, on other websites. But yeah, $80 in seals, some new gear oil, and I actually had to buy like some big sockets, the axle lock nut socket set from Vivor, which was like super cheap, $35 for like 8 pieces or so, and a few other little tools here and there. But like overall, the shop quoted me $10,000, or some other guy, but that's what I read online. It's like about $10,000 for both sides, plus costs of traveling the machine up to the shop, which would have been probably another $1,000. So saved $11,000. Took me, I've been busy with this for 3 weeks because I had to wait for parts and figure things out and blah blah blah. But work time, I would say like 4 days total max. The second motor, travel motor, took me way less time than the first one, but yeah, I'd say four days of work time, and then the parts. So totally worth it doing it yourself, and seems really intimidating. Did seem to me in the beginning as well, but it's not that hard after all. And yeah, everything's tight, no leaks, everything's good. And that's the end of the job. So this whole thing, this one side took me a day and a half. I started yesterday early afternoon on that side. I spent about $78 in seals. You can buy them on eBay. Just Google Hitachi EX60 travel motor seal kit. And then I had to buy some big ass sockets, the 36 millimeter, to get those hydraulic fittings off from the travel motor. Those I didn't have. And then the shop would have charged me $10,000, $3,500 to $5,000 per side. Plus I would have had to pay about $1,000 to bring it up to Springfield, Vermont, to the equipment shop. So I saved a lot of money. It was kind of headaches here and there, but at the end of the day, not that hard. Just turning wrenches mostly, basically. Yeah. All right. But yeah, hope this is helpful to anyone, and good luck.